All right, Mr. D, let's talk about how to spray those taller plants. How do we go about doing it, and the calculations as well?
Okay. Well, the first thing, you need a sprayer that will get the spray up to the top of the plant that you're spraying. You need to do it from the ground. I do not recommend putting a ladder up beside a tree and climbing up there with a backpack sprayer and spraying, because that's a recipe for breaking a leg. But try to make, and there's sprayers that will spray 30 feet with a little 12-volt pump. Wow. A lot of sprayers that will spray 30 feet in the air. But the first thing, when you get one like that, when you get a sprayer that will do the job that you need it to do, spray it with just water. Mm-hmm. Go around the plant and spray it to the point of runoff. Okay. You don't have to drench it, but spray it to the point of runoff. Being sure to direct your spray to the underside of the leaves if you can, and also try to get coverage on the outer side, the upper side of the leaves, and figure out how much water it took you to do that. And then you know how many gallons per acre you're putting out.
That's smart.
And then look at the product that you're spraying, the fungicide or the insecticide, and it will tell you how many ounces per acre you need to apply, usually. And so if you put, if the recommendation is 5 ounces to the acre, and you are applying 10 gallons of water, then you put 5 ounces in 10 gallons of water. But 5 ounces of the acre doesn't mean 5 ounces of that one tree. Right. You would have to break it down to how many square feet that tree is covering, and break it down to that percent of the acre. And if it's 1/1000th of an acre, then you would put 1/1000th of 5 ounces on that tree. And so you put 1/1000th of that 5 ounces, when you're talking about milliliters now, in the amount of water that it took you to cover that tree.
Gotcha. Okay.
If it requires 10 gallons for you to do it, then you would put that number of milliliters in 10 gallons of water. If I can do it with 5 gallons of water, I would put that number of milliliters in 5 gallons of water.
Okay.
And do it. So you start with the amount of water that you're putting out, and then you work backwards from that. Okay. Is what you do.
So the amount of water to start with is most important.
It's most important, because and then, if you change that just a little bit, you need to be really consistent, because if you change that just a little bit, then your application rate is off.
Okay. Wow, how about that?
So, it's pretty important, and you can do that same type of calculation with a 4 ATV sprayer. Mm-hmm. You can do it with a backpack sprayer. You can do it with a pump-up sprayer. Spray what needs to be sprayed. If you need to spray your yard, and the recommendation is 5 ounces of this product per 1,000 square feet. And so you run over your yard first with water, with a 4-wheeler or your hand sprayer or whatever. Figure out how much water you're putting out, and then you put that amount, in the spray tank.
Wow. I wonder, is there a place that homeowners can actually go to actually figure out calculations?
You can. I have a fact sheet that I found online.
That's a good one. Yeah.
It is a really good one. Herbicide sprayer calibration guidelines that has some really, really good pointers for that. And this is focused on backpack sprayers and let's see, I think boomless sprayers. It's just a 3-page publication, and has some really, really good information. Some conversion factors and things like that, which is really good. But the label is a legal document that you're bound by law to follow, and you need to figure out how much you're putting out with your sprayer in order to follow the label. Right. And it's also, if you don't do that, there are 2 things that could happen. You may not get enough product out there.
That's one.
And you may not control the problem you're trying to control. And the other thing that could happen is you may put up way too much product out there and harm the environment, you know, and it can kill what you're trying to save, you know, especially if you're dealing with herbicides.
Right, and I think a lot of people do the latter.
Yeah.
Put out too
This
much.
is not the case where if a little bit does you a little good, a lot does you a lot more good. It may be a little bit does you a lot of good, and a lot will wipe you out.
Wipe you out. Never quite heard it said like that. All right, wipe you out. Yeah. So let's go back to the homeowner's yard. Okay, so they have a 2-gallon sprayer, right? So if they're walking their yard out, which way should they go? North, south, east, west? I mean, how would you do that?
What I try to do, if I'm applying a product with that kind of sprayer, I try to go both ways. I try to put out 50% of the recommended rate going one way, and then check, you know, perpendicular.
Right.
And that way, I won't have streaks in the yard, especially if you're dealing with herbicides or things like that. I may have little dots, but I won't have a long streak because if I have streaks going both ways, you know, I may have dots, you know, a lot of dots. But so try to, and I do that with fertilizer and lime and anything. Try to figure out try to put out about, because if you don't do that, if you try to put out 100% of the product with one pass, you run out after you've covered 3/4 of it. What have you done? You've over applied, and you don't have enough to finish the job. But if you try to put out about 50% going east-west and then another 50% going north-south, or you know, just perpendicular to the direction that you went, then your coverage is a lot more even, and you probably won't run out.
That's a good rule of thumb. Good rule of thumb. And quickly, before we have to wrap it up, it will tell you on the label what to wear.
Right.
Protective
Follow
gear.
the label, and I don't think I've ever seen on the label where your flip-flops and shorts are required. You know, most of the time it's going to tell you to wear rubber boots and long pants and long sleeve shirts. And sometimes it will tell you to wear a face mask, because if you've got wind blowing, you don't want to inhale, you know, what you're putting out. And protective glasses, because when you're filling, you know, I've seen it splash up many times, you know, and if you get something splashed in your eye, you know, you need to wash it out very quickly with water, with running water. But if you've got safety glasses on, it feels real good for that splash of water to hit those glasses, and you're thinking, I'm glad I got the glasses on.
That's right.
But I wear a hat, a brimmed hat, to protect me from the sunlight, and then long sleeves and long pants, and at a minimum. And then rubber boots. If you're walking through where you're spraying, don't wear leather, because leather can absorb. But wear rubber, and my rubber boots are real short and they're cool, and you know, like 4 inches tall, and that takes care of it.
Yeah, I have the same pair. Good stuff, Mr. D. It's always a good reminder to be safe when you're out there spraying. Sure.
That's right. Follow that label.
Thank you much. Good stuff. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. To find out more information on this topic, just click on the familyplotgarden.com link in the description.